Are you recording? All right. What's up? Hey, man, welcome to another Dead End Hip Hop video. I'm your host, Rod, a.k.a. Modest Media. Joining me on the show, we have Kenneth B. Ends to my left. A special guest on the show, we have Granddaughter. To my right, we got the infamous Beezy 430,
What up,
one of the founders of the show.
What up?
And we got Myke C-Town. He back, bro. He back. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Happy to have you back, man. Everybody is, you know. Bring something special to the show, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, man. But no, we're here today talking about album revisits. We done a couple of these so far. Like I said, we did the Schoolboy Q, did A$AP Rocky, and we actually intended on doing these more, but just kind of fell behind on it. But nonetheless, here we are. And this is one that we should have did back in May, because this one dropped in May. And the one I'm talking about is Killer Mike's rap music. That dropped. When did it drop?
2012.
2012.
May
you know
2012.
May. Yeah, May 2012. And we reviewed it in June. So this particular review got up to about 45,000, almost 46,000 views when we dropped it. I mean, it's kind of safe to say that this was underrated. We just talked about overrated, underrated stuff, albums, but the 90s. But I think this was probably one of those underrated albums around the time or whatnot, and because I think other things overshadow it at this point. I went back and watched this one, and we had Clutch Brady was a guest.
Oh man,
it was fun, man. Watching this one, it really made me miss how we were in certain environments. Like if y'all go back and watch this one, man, like we were really in our pocket. Like the way the conversation flowed and just like the way we were bouncing off each other, and I think it helped too because I think for the most part everybody was hyped on this one. You know what I'm saying? Everybody really enjoyed this one, so it really made for fun.
And we used to be outside at just random locations.
We were at Grant Park, which is like a staple of Atlanta, by the way, and I think that was pretty fit for this album. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, this was another one that I wasn't on. This because around this time, especially 2012, I was behind the camera. So you might have heard my voice, but you know I wasn't in front of the camera. So, but nah, man, rap music. The acronym for rap was Rebellious African People Music. That was the acronym for the rap part in rap music. So we did know that. I'm not sure if we mentioned it on the actual review, but
that's what I was gonna ask you.
It was in the description though, so we knew that one. Unlike
I must have forgot it then.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
When I was asking myself, I was like, damn, did I ever know what that means? What does it mean? Why
That's
did I
what it
never
was.
ask myself? Okay, cool.
This was good, man. This was really good, and like for me going back listening to it, you could tell this is what birthed like Run the Jewels.
Right.
Like this sound is what birthed it.
Yep.
They even made even in the first song he says something like he's like run your chain or something like that when you come to Atlanta or something like that. Like so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Run the Jewels. Like I was like, shit, that's where it came from. So does it still stay there for y'all? Like I guess I'll start with you, Ken. Like does it still hold up to where you put it around that time?
Yeah, it still holds up, man. It was just as refreshing listening to it now as it was back then. Funny enough, I don't even play this album a lot, which when I'm listening to it, I'm like, what? Same thing. I had the same thing, Mike. I was shaking my head. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
Me too.
This is so stupid. Because it's so fucking good. The beats, of course, shout out to LP, is just fucking timeless, man. It's interesting, like 12 years later, you can like really hear the timelessness in the beats.
Yes.
But yeah, man, like everything in it just really, really holds up. I gotta make sure I add this to my rotation. you know, more and more, listen to it more and more, because I'm definitely fucking up.
Obviously, you wasn't on Dead End back in the day, but how did you feel about the album initially, and how do you feel about it now?
Did you do this on your channel?
No. So this is this was 2 years before I started doing YouTube. And honestly, it took me a minute to get really get into Killer Myke as far as an artist, because I knew of him like being a part of, you know, with Outkast and everything like that, but I never like went and listened to his own work. So I didn't hear this when it first came out. I just kind of like I heard about, because the label who put it out is the same people who do Adult Swim, so I heard them talking about it, but I just kind of like whatever. So a couple years later, I listened to it and I was like, I'm fucking up, because this shit is fucking great.
Was it because of Run the Jewels at that time?
It was when Run the Jewels started coming out, and at first I was like, it took me a while to get to Run the Jewels, but when Run the Jewels finally clicked with me, I went back and heard this, and I was like, this was like an amazing product. I was like, these two were meant to work together. Like LP and Killer Myke, like they just are the perfect combination. And I don't know how this randomly just generated, because they're two from, one's from Atlanta, one's from New York. They didn't grow up together. They were from two completely different eras and crews, and they just made magic. And this album was the first little bit of it, and I was like, okay, Killer Myke is crazy. I always thought he was dope, but the production really accentuated what Killer Myke was doing and trying to say on this album, with this album. So definitely holds up to this day.
How does it hold up for you?
Yeah, still a fucking amazing ass album. I mean, this is who would have thought when this album dropped that this was the beginning. Not me. Who would have thought? Not me. But yeah, like the fact that we end up getting 4 amazing albums from these two gentlemen, LP being a producer and Killer Myke being an MC, but you know, of course, LP rhyming on Run the Jewels as well. But this is the first album you can think of where it's like, you know the phrase we always say, I ain't never thought I'd need a collaboration from such and such, but this is really the truth. Like, cause I'd have never thought that these two would have hit it off as well and create this classic body of work with this album, man, with this rap music album, because this shit was just fucking amazing. I used to tell people like Killer Myke been dope. Like if you listen to his Pledge albums, like this is nothing new. So it was amazing seeing how this album and Run the Jewels really just kind of put Killer Myke and LP on notice. And this is like, you know, people who knew it was like, no, Killer Myke been talking that shit for a minute, you know what I'm saying, on this album. So this is not the first time. It was just with LP's production on this shit.
I think that's what it did. It was that difference in production.
Yeah, that shit, it was crazy. Like you said, this was the start. Like this was kind of like the kickstart of that relationship, and them two just going ahead and just being like some of the. Now you can probably put them in that argument for like some of the best hip hop duos in the culture. So.
Yeah, because we didn't know that was coming. As far as I knew, I didn't think we didn't know about a Run the Jewels, but yeah, I think they may have started hearing the murmurs of like, you know, how much people.
Killer Myke was featured on Cancer for Cure. You know what I'm saying? So
that came out first though, right?
It
came out first, and then this came out.
They both in the same year, but Cancer for Cure came out first,
a couple months earlier.
But by the time Cancer for Cure came out, we knew this was coming.
Yes. And I remember Cancer for Cure not sounding like this.
Right. And that's what makes that's why I was so amazed by the production on her. I'm just like, this motherfucker LP, man, that shit is fucking nuts.
It really was. Man. Listening back to this shit, I was like, damn, like Ken said, man, it's just like, yo, why haven't I been bumping this? Like, cause I remember bumping it when it was out. Like, I don't remember why I don't play it. Like, it's really good. Yeah. I'm gonna swing it to you in a second, Myke. But I remember one it was you. You said you didn't like.
He fixed it though.
Did he?
He said he didn't like Don't Die.
Yes.
And then he had to fix it because he wasn't talking about Don't Die. He was talking about the Lord Jesus.
Oh, the
gospel.
Ghetto Gospel.
Oh yeah, Ghetto Gospel.
That's the one he didn't like. That was when I was way worse. So
yes. What the fuck is wrong with you?
And Kim was like, wait, calm down. Maybe I'm wrong. And then he finally, at the end, after he gathered his thoughts, he was like, no, it's Ghetto Gospel that he didn't like.
That's crazy. All right, so it was one that you didn't like, and I know you know what it is that I was surprised that you didn't like. Was JoJo's Chillin'. JoJo's Chillin' is dope too. I know you was on him about Don't Die, but JoJo's Chillin'.
Why are you
good.
surprised I didn't like that one though?
I don't know, cause I don't know. Like the LP production on that was great. The storytelling on it was great. Like I don't know. I just felt like well-rounded track. And I didn't understand. But you did say it was a minor gripe. You didn't want to stay on it.
The song's not bad. The song's not
So,
bad. It just sticks out. It doesn't fit in with the other songs to me.
Yeah, I like JoJo's Chillin'. Nah, but yeah, how does it hold up for you in its entirety today?
I listen to this album all the time.
That's what, man.
All
Nice.
the time.
That's cool.
It's still one of those albums that I'm actually surprised that people don't talk about as much because I can't remember if I said this on here, if I might have put it on Twitter when I was in the mood, but I was saying that this is just, to me, it's just as good as To Pimp a Butterfly, and it covers the same kind of topics.
Yes, you're right. I was thinking that too. Like, I don't know. I was so, like, I guess stuck on the production and how it sounded that I just didn't really break into the lyrics like that. But when you look at the lyrics, it's like, fuck. It's not surprising where he is now in political spaces and all that. I'm like, he was on that shit. Yeah. He was on that shit. So, yeah.
Whoever I had said it to was definitely, it must have not been y'all then, but yeah, whoever I said it to was definitely arguing. Like, what? No, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, if you really sit down and look at this album, he was definitely covering a lot of pro-black issues.
Yes.
He was talking about police violence. Yep. He was talking about a lot of shit. Then he was talking about his love of hip hop. He really covered a lot of different areas. And I feel like he was extremely creative with it. Like, if you listen to Untitled or Don't Die, those songs are just absolutely stellar songs. Like, the rapping on here is fucking top notch. It's really top notch. And the production is, it's just untouchable. But this was, to me, like the beginning of Killer Mike moving more into that political space. You know, being more of I mean, he was already a community leader, sure, but his name was put up there. Like, I feel like, and this isn't supposed to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I don't know, had this album not happened, I don't know if Keisha Lance Bombs would know his name enough to call him when there's unrest. Right. You know, I don't know if Bernie Sanders would have been like, oh yeah, I want that guy's endorsement. Right. I feel like this album was the beginning of people really recognizing how good of a rapper he was, but more importantly, how smart Killer Mike is. And yeah, I still think this album is brilliant. Gotcha. Every song except, I still don't like JoJo's Chillin'. I skip over it every time. But every other song on here is just like, God, it's so good.
That's what's up. I know one of the overall consensus, like when we were reviewing it the first time, was that it had like that Ice Cube America's Most Wanted type feel to it, almost like a soft, like the bombs there. Does y'all still feel that way about it, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't?
No. Oh, you don't.
Yeah, I still can see that. I don't even remember that, but that's actually
you absolutely said it.
Yeah,
you brought the point up.
Shit, man, God damn.
Said it. Between you and B, I think y'all were. Him. Yeah, well, I think B kind of everybody kind of co-signed. That's why I said it was the overall consensus though, because I remember thinking that as well, like because he had a lot of references and points to it when and then T.I. did that America's Most Wanted, like he did that type of stuff. So yeah, it definitely had that feeling, but I don't know if it was, but it's more of like a South type Ice Cube feel or something. Like it didn't. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I definitely felt it, and I think it was just some of the references in it that made me feel that. Yeah,
the way he's rapping, as aggressive as he is, he sounded like Ice Cube.
Yeah,
I mean his projects before this, like the Bang stuff and the grind time and all that stuff.
Right.
There were some songs that were aggressive, sure, but it seemed like he was extra aggressive on here. But he really showed people that he can rap his ass off on this project. And like you were saying, like Killer Mike's been dope, LP's been dope. It's just really, it was really cool to see these two guys that, one of those things like, if you're in the know, you're in the know. Yeah. It was just cool seeing these two guys be put on the fucking forefront. Yep. And now everyone else is kind of seeing what you've been saying for the past however many years. And it was a cool moment. This was such a cool moment. It was. Because I still remember when I think it was Untitled that came out first, right?
I don't know what it was, but I remember you playing it for me at the old job. Yep. And you were telling me about this album and them partnering up and linking up. I'll never forget that. And I don't know what snippet you played me, but yeah, you were the first one to put me on it and let me know this was coming.
Don't Die has all of those weird production shift changes. And I think that was like the first full song that ended up coming out. But I think there was a snippet of Untitled.
I think it was Untitled.
That came out before the album did. Because I remember when this was announced, I was like, Killer Mike and LP? That's fucking weird.
Man.
That's super weird. How is that going to work?
Right.
And I remember just thinking to myself, this can't be a real thing. And when that song came out, I remember just being like, holy shit, that's LP production?
Yeah.
That's Myke over LP production? You are witnessing elegance in the form of a black elephant. I was like, I was so fucking excited for this album. When it first came out, the second Big Beast hit, I was in heaven. I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
Let me ask you this, speaking of LP.
What you want to add?
Because I always found it slightly odd. It's called rebellious African rap music. But you have like a solely white producer on it.
He's mixed.
He said he's mixed. That always confused me when it was such a black album that you have a white producer throughout your whole shit. Did that seem weird to anybody else?
Not to me.
No.
Really?
If it was bad, if the album was trash. if the beast was trash, then I'm like, yeah, what you do this for? But they were good. It worked. It was.
I get that.
And the point was because that's the message that Killer Myke was trying to portray, and LP gave him the soundscape to portray that message perfectly. So
obviously, I feel that. But it just still seems a little weird to me.
Just look at him like a modern day abolitionist.
right, right and wrong.
I'm gonna help you.
He's right and wrong one beat at a time, right? If it wasn't LP, what producer do you think would have been able to do the same thing?
To capture that, I don't think it is one. That's where I'm like not torn or anything. It's just
You don't think even just a standard, not a white producer, but just a regular producer? Not that white producers aren't regular, but you know what I mean.
I don't know who can capture it the way LP captured it, bro. Like
No,
he was doing some super crazy stuff on this shit that I don't know if anybody else can do it.
He didn't rap on it though, so
He had a feature on it. He had a feature on
Middle
it.
fingers up as you can as it's going down. What?
I'm thinking. I always think of this T.I.
LP's an ally.
Yeah.
LP's definitely an ally. Like he's definitely an ally.
Have you heard them talk about this? How this was only supposed to be one song?
I haven't.
Oh man, you haven't either? Oh yeah, they've talked about this a lot. This was only supposed to be one song that LP produced, and if I remember correctly, I think LP didn't even really want to do it. It wasn't nothing to do with Killer Myke, but that was during the time that Def Jux was folding, and all of those dudes were going to all those weird issues. But if I remember correctly, he was like friends with someone at Adult Swim, and that dude was trying to pair him up with Killer Myke.
I think Jason DeMarco.
Is that who it was?
It was the VP, yeah. I think the story is he knew both. He's the one who actually put them together.
Okay. It was only supposed to be one song that LP produced. They got together, and it was just like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, no, I want you to produce my whole shit.
That's dope.
So then LP was pushed back, and I think he was doing Cancer for Cure at the time as well.
Yeah.
So he just didn't really have the time to be doing other people's shit. But then he did, and it was like, oh wow, like we're not just good at rapping together and making music. Like I really like you.
Like real chemistry. Yeah.
So that's where Run the Jewels came.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
You know, it was just interesting to see how all of this transpired.
Yeah.
It was so organic. It was just like one thing just kind of like perfectly fell into place after the next. And I think that's why, not only because the music is great, but why every Run the Jewels project after that has been so phenomenal is because they have a great relationship personally with each other.
And you can tell.
It's like they just work so well with each other because it's like you can tell it's a real friendship.
They act like brothers. Like I think they even call each other brothers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It's been a wild ride being an L fan for so long and then seeing this happen. Because anybody that says that they knew that this was going to be good, they're just lying.
Yeah.
They're just lying. And LP and Killer Myke know that because they've said it before. They were like, yeah, we wanted to put our foot in the face of everyone that thought this was going to be bad. Because you hear L production, and granted, he did do some diverse stuff, but not like this.
Right.
This is the first time where I was really like, oh my God, no, he can do not anything, but he can do a lot of shit.
Yes.
Different shit that you wouldn't expect out of him.
Man.
And this album, I feel like anytime I put it on, it just feels like magic. As corny as that sounds, it just feels like fucking magic. It's like this should not work. And the fact that it does work makes it work so much better because you'd expect it to be bad.
We know Killer Myke, and he had those things, but at the end of the day, he was the never. I ain't never scared. What's the Bone Crusher song?
Yeah, Bone Crusher.
He had the Adidas song.
He had that,
Killer Myke was on that song too.
But yeah, Killer Myke was on that song. Like he was known for being on that record. That was like one of his shining moments.
And the Outkast
stuff. So he had those two really big shining moments. Those were his like breakthrough. After that, he was just kind of just there. This really revitalized and changed his career in so many different ways. And it's always interesting just kind of historically looking back and seeing how you just never know what that thing could be and what it is and who that person could be. Just some random pairing. And it completely put propel Killer Mike to the mainstream on a whole other level that we haven't even seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know if we would have activist Killer Mike if this album hadn't come out. I mean, we probably have him locally,
Yes.
But not
but
to
his
this
name
scale.
wouldn't be out. Say again?
Not to the scale that he's at now.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. So do you still not like ghetto gospel?
I do like it. I actually
Okay.
went back while you guys were talking. I went back and listened to it, and it was when I was playing it last night. That was one of the songs that I found myself liking. Now, 10 years later, that is so wild.
That hook is great. That
That's
hook
what was
is
so
just
funny
great.
about that video, because I was like, man, that hook, Lord,
Lord
Jesus.
Jesus.
He was like, I was like, I know your grandparents probably said that shit. And you
Yeah,
was like,
they did.
That's probably why I didn't like the damn song. I fucking died.
Yeah, he did say that.
And I'm wondering if, because we've had so many different Run the Jewels projects and that type of hook has been used, I feel like on some of those, that maybe just over the years, I've grown more accustomed to it. It's possible. Yeah, I actually do like that song a lot now.
This was like the first time on this album was the first time I really looked at T.I. as like, damn, you're like a really, really, really good rapper. As opposed to just making like cool songs that I like.
Nah, he's good.
I'm like,
man.
nah, you're like a really good rapper.
He's a rapper.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
T.I. is a rapper. Yeah, he's not just like a Southern South stereotypical rapper. But he's a rapper. But why didn't he drop any solo stuff after this?
Because Run the Jewels blew up.
Run the Jewels.
I
Either
understand.
did LP.
I know, but like, why not
know,
drop
right?
another solo one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't really have to.
You don't have to. I think it's because, and also maybe if I think he just dropped a single. Now
He did.
Yeah, he dropped a single and
Running or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think the brand of Run the Jewels has gotten so big, and I think they just working together so much. It's just, why not just do more Run the Jewels stuff? Like, he can make a solo album. It's probably not going to do as well as the new Run the Jewels album because it's not Run the Jewels. And they probably know let's strike while this iron is still hot. And they're
keep
4
riding
for,
away.
they're 4 for 4.
Keep riding that
Keep
way.
riding
Yeah,
away.
they 4 for 4.
They 4 for 4. Why stop now? So
Yeah.
Because LP hasn't been
Nope.
a solo either, has it?
So they,
And they
Crazy.
both they last solo albums was 2012.
Yeah, that's so wild.
so
It's
they
crazy.
figured
10
out. They
years.
said we made it. We got some magic right here. So
10
Because I
years.
read somewhere, I never saw LP confirm this or whatever, but I read somewhere that LP was saying that Cancer for Cure was going to be his last album, period.
Oh, okay.
Like ever. So then this kind of revitalized him as being interested in doing music again.
Gotcha.
If that's true. If that's true. One of these days, hopefully we can actually get them both in a room and do a real actual interview with both of them.
That would be cool.
Because there's a really good Hot 97 interview with both of them.
Yeah.
And it's super entertaining. They're just talking shit, talking about their history. It's really,
Their
really,
chemistry
really
is
dope.
crazy.
Huh?
Their chemistry is crazy.
Their
not
chemistry
just
is
not
crazy,
just on the
absolutely.
music, but just in personality wise. So yeah.
You can tell they're genuine friends. It's not some bullshit.
Nah,
They're
for sure.
genuine
Yeah.
friends.
That's
Yeah.
dope. It's really dope, man. This video was 10 minutes long. The review was 10
No
minutes
fucking
long.
way.
Yes. We reviewed
And most of
this
it was
shit.
Clutch Brady looking at us. I'm playing.
That shit was 10
Maybe
minutes
not.
long. Like, we used to really keep this shit together, bro.
How did we do that?
Because that was popular back then. Was
No,
10
but
minute
how
long
did
video.
we
Oh.
do that?
We didn't
That's
have
it.
good chemistry back then either.
You don't
Well,
think
in
so?
that video we did. In that video we did. Oh, well, you might not think so because you was going off and shit, but but I felt like it was good chemistry.
That version of Mike don't bother me. I like that version.
I
of
like
Mike.
him too. I like that version too.
I don't know
I understand why he
I got you.
doesn't, but yeah,
He don't like that version of Mike. He's still mad.
Look, look, you don't bother me, Mike.
You
I
a
know who you
lie.
are.
You a lie. Your booty hole been tight for the last half hour.
Hey, look,
He has been quiet.
I was just joking,
Look,
man. Come on, bro. I love
it's
you, man.
fine
Don't
to
be
admit
mad.
that Mike get on your skin. Mike has got under everybody's
Bro, of
skin.
course he gets under my skin.
It's up, B. I'm just trying to make him feel better.
Bro, I've dealt with people like Mike all my life. Mike don't
It's
shake
fine.
me.
It's fine. You ain't never dealt with
Hey,
nobody
but
like
you want to,
that. Bro,
but Mike, you want to see me get on the granddad skin though? Watch a Dead End Gaming video,
Oh, for real?
bruh.
That was that one time, bro.
I
He
got
get mad like
I
that?
got it, bro.
You got him. I remember that shit.
That was with the water bottle. That was
shit
with
was
the water
so
bottle. I
funny.
remember that shit
That shit was so
because
funny.
he was not getting what I was trying to say, and he started spinning it. And I was like, bro, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Man,
and he kept going with it. and I
Kid
just
got
like-
under
I was
his
like,
skin
bruh.
so good.
Are you sure he spun it or you didn't,
Oh, shit.
You what now?
I'm gonna stop.
All right, man. Look, that was our revisit of Killer Mike's rap music, man. We all feel like it still holds up today. If you like that, man, if you like these album revisits, definitely subscribe to the channel. Definitely send your comments and let us know you like them. We'll keep doing them if you like them. I don't know what else y'all be doing on these parts, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Good night. I don't know. Shit. All right, man. Peace.